tell us a little bit about the world of Champions Online, and so maybe you could take us to your favorite area?
Sure. Really, I think the thing that's a benefit for us in terms of having the Champions IP is the fact that it's been around since '81. So it's really rich, it's deep, it's vetted through, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of players around the world for the characters and the game mechanic concepts and everything. So it's been a great place to kind of cherry pick locations out of. They're very different. The major zones we take you to. There's everything from there's the desert that you go into, which actually they're kind of big blocks of areas, and there's tons of what we call neighborhoods in them that you go to. So the desert's kind of a big overarching arid type zone, but has like an abandoned amusement park with like rogue cowboy robots in it, and an oasis and a hidden viper base and all these different places. There's the Canadian kind of tundra and wilderness, which has a four-station steelhead in the middle, and then you go off and you're finding like ice zombies and all these other weird things that are happening and fighting. Monster Island, which is this kind of hidden, secluded island that has big, giant, like world-level bosses that you fight. It takes like 10, 20 people to take them down. Also, there's like Manimal Villages. That's kind of that island of Dr. Moreau type plot lines that go through there. There's also Lemuria, which I think is awesome. It's all underwater. So it's the first time I've actually ever played an MMO that has a zone that's literally like 95% underwater. So you don't use your normal travel powers. You're swimming everywhere, but the gameplay space is really different because you're up and down, and it's this whole actual true 3D type of environment that you're worrying about when you go through. And then probably the last one is the big showpiece, which is Millennium City. It was really important for us to make a real showpiece city because obviously, fans of what Cryptic's done in the past have City of Heroes and City of Villains to look at, and those games were entirely set in cities, really. So we wanted to get players kind of outside the city walls, out into these other areas like Lemuria and Monster Island and Canada and things. But when we actually had the city that's the hub of the game, we knew it had to be really impressive.
And Millennium City is the first place you get to go to, I understand?
Yeah, actually Millennium City's the tutorial. You start in a little section of Millennium City that's under a force dome. The Qlar, which are aliens in our world, are invading, and they're attacking the Champions headquarters. The Champions are the preeminent supergroup in the universe, and they're assaulting that. So when we start the game, we put you in every zone we introduce with these things we call crisis maps. So there's a huge crisis that's going on, and so the first one that you actually get into the game is the crisis in Millennium City, this alien invasion, and you have to go and help the heroes turn back the invasion.
Can you tell us a little bit how you handle player versus player combat in the game?
Yeah, we definitely have PvP in the game. We know that players like to test their skills against each other. Again, fortunately, we're really helped out by the IP there. There's actually this concept of a superhero contest that happens. So we entitled kind of the overarching concept for PvP called the Hero Games. Hero Games is actually the name of the company that created Champions. So it's kind of our homage to those guys, to Steve and Darren and them that did the creation. And within that, there's different PvP types. There's the Tournament of Champions, which is basically 5-on-5 team arena play. There's the Bash, which happens in West Side, which is kind of the slummy, bad part of Millennium City, which is basically a big free-for-all style PvP map. And then we have what we call Apocalypse maps. Those are designed to be almost like end-of-the-world scenarios, so on an Apocalypse map, superheroes will take usually one of two sides to train for these really bad scenarios. The one that's going out live with launch is the Stronghold Apocalypse. Stronghold's the supervillain prison. So players, heroes take either the side of like falsely imprisoned heroes that are trying to break out, or heroes that are trying to stop villains from escaping. So those are the two roles that they play. And it's this really awesome, almost like Defender, the Ancient style map, like a Dota style map from War 3, where there's like this back and forth and a push, and there's waves of NPCs that go and fight, and you can trigger things to go off in the maps, and it's a very, very different style of PvP.
You touched on it a little bit. You're closing in on the end of development. What do you look to expand on with the game post launch?
Probably everything. I mean, that's the beauty of an MMO, right? Is that you can interact with your community, find out what they want more of, and really work towards that.
Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.